Have you ever caught yourself wondering why you're still running on empty, trying to please everyone or skipping meals to save time, only to feel more tired and less like the vibrant woman you know you are? Or maybe you've thought, am I the only one who's done with chasing perfection? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. Turning 60 was my quiet revolution. I started letting go of what no longer served me, and it opened up a world of peace, strength, and joy I didn't know was waiting. Today, I'm sharing the 5 things I stopped doing after 60, plus 2 more that came later in my journey, making 7 in all. These aren't strict do's and don'ts. They're gentle invitations to rethink your days so you can feel more vibrant, rested, and true to yourself. If you're ready to embrace this season with more ease and happiness, stick around. This could be the gentle nudge your heart has been waiting for. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back to our channel, where we gather like old companions to talk about health, happiness, and the beautiful art of living well after 60. It's such a joy to have you here today. Imagine us sitting in a sunny garden, with birds chirping and a light breeze, sharing stories that lift each other up. As we step into our 60s, 70s, and even 80s, life invites us to pause and reflect on what truly nourishes our souls and bodies. We've spent so many years giving to others, raising children, supporting spouses, building careers, and keeping homes running smoothly, that it's easy to carry old habits forward without questioning them. But after 60, our energy shifts, our muscles and bones need more kindness, and our hearts crave simplicity and peace. That's why today's topic feels so personal and important. The 5 things I stopped doing after 60, and 2 more that followed as I listened closer to my needs, making 7 key shifts in all. These changes didn't come from a book or a doctor. They came from my own experiences, from feeling the weight of unnecessary stress and realizing I deserved a lighter, more joyful path. For women like us, who've given so much, stopping certain things isn't about quitting. It's about reclaiming your time, your peace, and your health so you can savor this chapter with grace and vitality. Whether you're just turning 60 and noticing those first whispers of change, in your 70s navigating a new rhythm, or in your 80s seeking ways to feel more comfortable and content, these stops can help you protect your well-being and make room for what brings you true happiness. I'll share each one with stories from my life and simple, everyday tips you can try right away to feel the difference. I'm not a doctor or an expert, just a friend who's walked this path, sharing what worked for me and the many women I've talked to over the years. If something here speaks to you, chat with your doctor to make sure it aligns with your health. Let's begin with the first thing I stopped: worrying about what others think. The first thing I stopped doing after 60 was worrying about what others think. Oh, ladies, this one was like lifting a heavy blanket off my shoulders. I felt freer almost immediately. In my 40s and 50s, I spent so much energy stressing over the little things. Was my house tidy enough for unexpected guests? Was my outfit appropriate for my age at a community event? Was I saying the right things in conversations to avoid judgment? It was like I was always performing, trying to meet some invisible standard, and it left me feeling anxious and tired when I could have been enjoying the moment. As we get older, our bodies and minds don't bounce back from stress as quickly. Worrying can make your heart flutter a bit more, tense your muscles, or even keep you awake at night, leaving you feeling worn out when you need your energy for the things that matter, like a walk with a friend or playing with your grandkids. For women over 60, this kind of constant concern can add unnecessary tension that affects how we feel overall, making us less likely to try new things or relax into who we are. I remember a day in my early 60s when I almost skipped a neighborhood coffee meetup because I was worried my casual sweater wasn't fancy enough. What a silly waste. I went anyway, and no one cared. We just laughed and shared stories. But before that, the worry had built up so much that it made my stomach knot and my head ache a little, reminding me how stress can take a toll on our bodies as we age. Stopping this habit gave me back my peace and let me focus on what truly brings joy. It wasn't easy at first. I had to remind myself that most people are too busy with their own lives to judge mine, and even if they did, it didn't define my worth. Over time, I found that letting go allowed me to be more authentic, like sharing my true opinions in conversations without overthinking, or decorating my home in ways that made me happy. not what I thought others expected. The practical tip here is to start your day with a simple affirmation to set a positive, self-focused tone. Each morning, stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say something kind like, "Today, I'm choosing what makes me happy," and that's enough. It might feel a little awkward at first, like talking to an old friend you haven't seen in a while, but after a few days, it becomes a comforting ritual that grounds you. Try it tomorrow morning and you'll notice how it helps you let go of others' opinions, perhaps letting you wear that colorful scarf you've been hesitating about or skip a social event that doesn't excite you, so you can spend the time reading a book or calling a loved one instead. This small act of self-kindness can make your days feel lighter, more authentic, and full of the things that light you up inside. And if you find your mind wandering back to worry during the day, take a deep breath and repeat your affirmation quietly to yourself. It works wonders for bringing you back to what's important. The second thing I stopped was skipping meals, especially breakfast, in the rush to get things done or thinking it would help me watch my figure. In my 50s, I'd often dash out the door with just a quick cup of coffee, figuring I could eat later, but after 60, I noticed how that left me feeling foggy, irritable, and low on energy by mid-morning. As we age, our bodies need steady nourishment to keep our blood sugar stable, support our muscles, and maintain our mood. Skipping meals can cause dips in energy that make everything feel harder, from running errands to enjoying a hobby. For women over 60, not eating regularly can also slow down our metabolism and contribute to losing muscle, which we want to avoid to stay strong and steady on our feet. I learned this lesson when I felt lightheaded during a morning walk with my sister, all because I'd rushed through breakfast. But before that, I'd convinced myself that eating less was healthy, not realizing it was leaving me hungry and cranky, affecting my patience with family or my focus during a card game with friends. Now, I treat meals as a priority, and it's like giving my body a steady stream of fuel to keep going smoothly. It took some time to adjust. I started by setting a reminder on my phone for meal times, and gradually, it became a habit that made me feel more balanced and less scattered. The practical tip is to prepare a simple, nourishing breakfast the night before so it's ready when you wake up. Try mixing a half cup of oats with yogurt, a splash of milk, and some sliced berries or a sprinkle of nuts in a jar, then let it sit in the fridge overnight. It's called overnight oats, and it's delicious, easy to digest, and packed with protein and fiber to keep you full and energized. You can add a dash of cinnamon or a teaspoon of honey if you like a touch of sweetness, making it feel like a treat rather than a chore. Give it a try for a few days, and you'll see how it helps you start your morning with a clear head and steady energy, maybe making that trip to the grocery store or a phone call with your grandchildren feel easier and more enjoyable. This habit has become my way of saying I matter first thing in the day, and it sets a tone of self-care that carries through, helping me avoid those midday slumps that used to make afternoons feel long and tiring. The third thing I stopped was overcommitting my time to every request that came my way, whether it was babysitting the grandkids on short notice, volunteering for every church event, or hosting family gatherings even when I felt tired. In my earlier years, I thought saying yes to everything made me a good person, reliable, helpful, the one everyone could count on. But after 60, I noticed how that was leaving me overwhelmed and depleted, with no time left for my own rest or the little things that bring me joy, like reading a magazine or taking a quiet walk. As we get older, our energy isn't as boundless, and constantly saying yes can lead to burnout, which shows up as trouble sleeping, feeling irritable, or even getting sick more often because your body is running on fumes. For women over 60, overcommitting can mean missing out on the self-care we need to stay healthy and happy, like getting enough sleep or enjoying a hobby that recharges us. I remember a busy week in my 60s when I said yes to 3 events in a row, a bake sale, a family dinner, and a friend's birthday lunch, and by the end, I was so exhausted I came down with a cold that kept me in bed for days. That was my turning point. I realized I deserved to choose what filled my cup, not just what filled others. It wasn't easy at first. I felt guilty the first few times I said no, but with practice, it became liberating, allowing me to show up more fully for the things I did choose. Stopping this habit gave me back my time and my peace. I still help when I can, but on my terms, and it's made me happier and healthier. The practical tip is to practice a gentle no that protects your energy without feeling guilty. Next time someone asks for your help, take a deep breath and say, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you tomorrow." This gives you space to think if it fits your day and how you'll feel afterward, perhaps deciding to join for a short visit instead of the whole day. Try it this week, perhaps with a phone call or invitation, and you'll find more room for things like a relaxing bath, knitting that scarf, or just sitting on your porch watching the birds, feeling calm and in control of your own schedule. This change has become my way of honoring my limits, and it makes the yes I give even more meaningful and enjoyable, without the resentment that used to creep in. The fourth thing I stopped was ignoring my body's signals, like a nagging ache, unusual tiredness, or even that little voice saying, "Slow down." In my younger years, I'd push through a sore knee or a stiff back, telling myself it was nothing and it'd pass. But after 60, I saw how that could lead to bigger problems, like a small pain turning into something that kept me from my daily walks or enjoying time with friends. As we age, our bodies speak to us more softly, but those signals, whether it's fatigue after a short outing or discomfort in your joints, are important messages asking for care. Ignoring them can mean small issues grow into chronic ones, like joint wear that limits your movement or fatigue that steals your joy. For women over 60, not listening can also mean missing early signs of things like low energy from not getting enough nutrients or stress building up. I once brushed off a persistent shoulder ache for months, thinking it was just from sleeping wrong, until my doctor suggested simple stretches that could have helped sooner if I'd paid attention. But before that, the pain had started affecting my sleep and my mood, making me snap at little things or skip activities I loved. Stopping this habit means treating your body like a trusted friend, listening and responding with kindness to keep it strong and comfortable. It took practice for me. I started by pausing when I felt off and asking myself, what does my body need right now? A rest, a stretch, or perhaps a call to the doctor if it lingered. The practical tip is to keep a small notebook or journal by your bedside, and each evening, jot down how your body felt that day. My back felt tight after gardening, or I felt more tired than usual after lunch. Then, try a gentle response, like a warm compress for soreness or a short rest if you're fatigued. If something persists for more than a week, don't hesitate to call your doctor. It's better to check than to wonder. Try this for a few days, and you'll become more attuned to your needs, perhaps preventing a small ache from becoming a big limitation, so you can keep baking your famous pies, tending your flowers, or hugging your loved ones without discomfort getting in the way. This habit has become my way of honoring the amazing body that's carried me this far, and it helps me feel more in tune, empowered, and proactive about my health, turning potential problems into easy adjustments. The fifth thing I stopped was staying up late, whether it was to watch just one more show on TV, scroll through my phone, or lie awake worrying about tomorrow. In my earlier years, I could burn the midnight oil and bounce back the next day, but after 60, I noticed how those late nights left me feeling groggy, forgetful, and low on energy, making simple tasks like grocery shopping feel like a chore. As we age, our sleep cycles change. We might wake up more often or need more time to feel rested. And cutting into sleep time makes everything harder, from our mood to our focus. Staying up late disrupts your body's natural rhythm, which can affect how well you sleep overall and even make you feel more stressed or blue during the day. For women over 60, good sleep is like a gentle hug for your body. It helps repair tissues, boost your immune system, and keep your mind sharp for the things you love, like solving puzzles or chatting with friends. I recall nights in my 60s when I'd stay up past 11 p.m. reading emails or watching the news, only to wake up grumpy and foggy-headed, which made the whole day feel off. But before I stopped, I'd tell myself it's just one night, not realizing how it added up to feeling constantly a bit worn out, affecting my patience with family or my enjoyment of hobbies. Stopping this habit meant creating a calmer evening routine, and it's made my mornings brighter and my days more enjoyable. It wasn't instant. I started by setting a no screens rule an hour before bed, and gradually, my body adjusted to winding down earlier. The practical tip is to set a wind down time an hour before bed, turn off screens, dim the lights, and do something relaxing like reading a light book, knitting a few rows, or sipping a cup of herbal tea like chamomile or lavender. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep by going to bed at the same time each night, perhaps with a soft blanket and a comfortable pillow to make it inviting. If your mind races, try jotting down worries in a notebook to park them for the night. Try this tonight, and you'll wake up feeling refreshed, with more pep in your step for your morning coffee ritual, a walk in the park, or that phone call with your sister. This change has become my way of saying goodnight to the day with gratitude, knowing I'm giving my body the rest it deserves to shine tomorrow, and it's helped me avoid those foggy days that used to make everything feel a bit harder. The sixth thing I stopped was avoiding new things, like trying a different recipe, joining a local group, or learning a simple skill on the computer, because I thought I'm too old for that now. In my 50s, I stuck to what I knew, my usual routines, my familiar hobbies, thinking it was easier and safer, but after 60, I saw how that made life feel a bit stale and even affected my mind, making me feel less sharp or curious about the world around me. As we age, our brains love novelty. It keeps them active and helps with memory and mood, but avoiding new experiences can make days blend together, leading to feeling bored or disconnected from life. For women over 60, sticking only to the familiar can miss out on the joy of discovery, which keeps our spirits young and our minds engaged. I remember hesitating to join a painting class at 62, thinking I'd be no good or the oldest one there, but when I stopped avoiding it and went, I found a new passion that brought me so much happiness, new friends, and a sense of accomplishment that boosted my confidence in other areas too. Before that, I'd stay in my comfort zone, like reading the same types of books or cooking the same meals, and it left me feeling like life was a bit predictable and less exciting. Stopping this habit opened up my world, and it can for you too. It started with small steps, like trying a new tea flavor or walking a different route, and built from there. The practical tip is to try one small new thing each week, perhaps a new soup recipe from a magazine, a free online tutorial for something fun like flower arranging, or calling a friend to try a new cafe together. Start small, maybe with something you've always been curious about, like growing herbs on your windowsill or listening to a podcast on a topic that interests you. Try it this week, and you'll feel a spark of excitement that keeps your mind sharp and your heart light, perhaps leading to new stories to share with your family or a hobby that fills your afternoons with delight. This habit has become my way of keeping life fresh, reminding me that every day holds a little adventure if I say yes to it, and it's helped me feel more alive and connected, even on quiet days. The seventh thing I stopped was comparing myself to others, whether it was friends who seemed more active and social, younger women in magazines with perfect lives, or even family members who have it all together with their busy schedules. This comparison snuck up on me in my 50s, making me feel like I wasn't measuring up. My garden wasn't as pretty as my neighbors, my energy wasn't as high as my sister's, or my home wasn't as organized as my daughter's. It stole my joy without me realizing, creating a sense of inadequacy that lingered like a cloud over my days. After 60, I saw how that mindset added unnecessary sadness and stress, affecting my confidence and even my motivation to try new things or enjoy what I had. As we age, comparison can make us feel inadequate when we should be celebrating our unique journeys, and it can lead to feeling down or withdrawing from social times, missing out on the connections that brighten our lives. For women over 60, this habit can overshadow the wisdom and grace we've earned through years of living, making us forget how far we've come and the special gifts we bring to the world. I recall scrolling through social media one afternoon and feeling envious of a friend's travel photos from a cruise, only to realize it was making me unhappy with my own quiet life at home, filled with books, calls from grandkids, and peaceful evenings. Stopping this habit meant focusing on my own blessings, and it brought so much peace. I started appreciating my cozy routine and the small joys, like a good laugh with a friend or a beautiful sunset from my porch. It wasn't always easy. I had to catch myself when comparison crept in and redirect my thoughts, but with practice, it became second nature. The practical tip is to keep a gratitude journal. Each evening, take a moment to write down 3 things you appreciate about your day or yourself, like a kind conversation with a neighbor, the comfort of your favorite chair, or the way you've handled a challenge with grace. This shifts your focus to positivity and self-appreciation, helping you celebrate your own path. Try it for a few days, and you'll feel more content and empowered, perhaps inspiring you to share your own stories with pride or enjoy a solo outing without second-guessing how it compares to others. This change has become my way of honoring the woman I've become, celebrating my path with love and without the weight of comparison, and it's helped me feel more grounded and grateful for the life I've built. Now, let's have an honest chat about some common mistakes women over 60 make that can make these years feel harder than they need to be. One big mistake is holding on to the idea that you have to do everything the same way you did in your 40s or 50s, like staying up late to finish tasks or saying yes to every invitation. This can lead to exhaustion or resentment, as your body needs more rest and recovery now, so give yourself permission to adjust and prioritize what feels good. Another mistake is dismissing small body signals, like tiredness or aches, as normal without checking in with a doctor. This can miss easy fixes like low vitamins or minor adjustments, leading to bigger issues that could have been prevented with early care. Many women also cut back on meals or snacks, thinking they need less food as they age, but this can leave you low on energy and nutrients, making daily activities feel more tiring. Eat regularly to keep your strength and mood steady. And don't avoid trying new things out of fear of looking silly or failing. This can make life feel stagnant and less exciting, affecting your mind and heart, so step out with curiosity to keep growing. Avoiding these mistakes means being gentle with yourself, making small adjustments like setting boundaries, listening to your body, eating balanced meals, and embracing novelty to feel more balanced, joyful, and in control every day. It's about learning from what doesn't work and choosing what does, so you can thrive in the season on your own terms. But here's the most encouraging part, my dear friends. It's never too late to make changes that brighten your days and lift your spirit. You're not past your prime, you're in a season full of wisdom, grace, and potential for new joys. I've seen women in their 70s start saying no to overcommitments and find time for hobbies they love, blooming with happiness they thought was behind them. Or ladies in their 80s who stopped ignoring their body signals and started gentle routines that gave them back their energy and confidence, allowing them to enjoy more moments with family or friends. Every small step, like a morning affirmation to let go of worry, a nourishing meal to fuel your day, a kind boundary to protect your time, listening to your body with care, prioritizing sleep for better rest, trying something new to spark joy, or practicing gratitude to celebrate your life, is a gift to yourself that adds up to feeling stronger, more peaceful, and deeply content. You've already accomplished so much, raised families, built homes, weathered storms, and created beautiful memories, and now it's your time to nurture yourself with the same love you've given others. Trust me, these years can be some of the sweetest if you let go of what no longer serves you and embrace what does. More laughter, more rest, more moments that make your heart sing. To wrap up, the 7 things I stopped after 60. Worrying about others' opinions, skipping meals, overcommitting, ignoring body signals, staying up late, avoiding new things, and comparing myself have made my life lighter, healthier, and more fulfilling. With tips like morning affirmations, prepped breakfasts, gentle no's, body journals, wind-down routines, weekly novelties, and gratitude journals, you can feel the same freedom and joy. You're amazing, and this time is for cherishing yourself, creating memories, and living with grace. If this video touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more warm advice, and share it with a friend who might need a little encouragement. I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're ready to stop? Drop it in the comments, and let's support each other. Take care, my friends, and we'll talk soon.